What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a typical lunch sandwich that you might have eaten as a kid growing up or still carry to work to this day, but I'm going to be upgrading it but trying to keep it as simple as possible. So my plan of attack for this is to kind of just take different textures and flavors and kind of really upgrade this sandwich, but keeping it in a sense where you could do this at home and it would take hardly any more time or effort to do. So with that being said, let's dive into this video. I also almost forgot to mention, I did just recently hit 100 subscribers, and on my last video I made GYOZA dumplings, and as a thank you for all of your support, I am doing a $20 gift card giveaway, and all you have to do is head over to that video. I'll link it down below, and just leave a comment and be subscribed to my channel and you'll be entered to win. That being said, only 3 or 4 people last time I checked have entered, so you've got a pretty high chance of winning the gift card if you go ahead and enter. So it'll be the easiest $20 you ever make. Go on over to that video and check it out. Alright, let's dive into making this sandwich. So the first thing that we're going to need for our sandwich is some better bread than just typical white bread. This isn't much more expensive, but you could also opt for an in-house made bakery loaf from your grocery store. But the most important thing here is to keep this kind of square shape, because this is going to hold our ingredients nicely. You just want to avoid oval shapes or anything like that. As you can see, this bread is a little bit thicker than just normal white bread, and the first step that we need here is to butter our bread. Now I'm just going to do this on one side to get a nice crunch on one side of the bread, the exterior of our sandwich, and the other side will be nice and soft. Feel free to toast both sides of your bread, but I'm opting for a little bit more of a chewy versus crunchy bread. Next, just add a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper to the buttered side of your bread. Next, head over to the stove and add your bread in this non-stick pan with the butter side down. Now, when you place your bread in here, you want to give it kind of a circular motion, and this is going to allow for more even toasting all across your bread. That way you don't end up with a buttery spot. Now let's talk about vegetables. Today I'm going to be using a red onion over a white onion for my sandwich, and I'll show you in a little bit what I'm doing with that, a hothouse tomato, and this weird looking lettuce that was on sale. Feel free to use iceberg, but it doesn't have much nutritional value. Alright, so starting with my red onion here, we're going to cut the ends off and then cut this straight down the middle so we can make nice little ribbons of onion. Now I'm just going to take my knife and cut these very thinly. If you can, get these paper thin. And the reason that we're doing this is so later we are actually going to rinse these under the sink, because red onion is extremely pungent compared to like a white onion or a sweet yellow onion, and we're going to get rid of that by running it under water, but it will still have a nice little bite that you get from red onion and a spiciness. But you can see these are very thin. There's not really much to cutting a tomato. You just have to set it on its side and kind of cut both ends off. Really, with this green stem end, you want to cut further than you think just to get rid of that hard top. And then it's just as simple as slicing this into 4 or 5 slices. Also, you could use really any type of tomato that you want here, even cherry tomatoes, but I think for this sandwich that the surface area of a hothouse tomato is going to fit nicely on our bread. Once your tomatoes are sliced, we're going to rinse our red onions to get rid of that really kind of pungent flavor. It'll still have a little bit of its spice left, but in the meantime, while we're rinsing these, we're going to head over and make our sauce. This sauce might come across as a little bit weird, but don't knock it until you try it. I'm going to be making kind of a sweet and tangy mayo, so I'm using 2 tablespoons of light mayo, adding the squeeze of a wedge of lemon to this, and then I'm going to be adding in a few cracks of fresh black pepper. Don't go too crazy with it. And then the key ingredient for this is just a little bit of honey. You can use all of this to taste, but I prefer my sauce to be a little bit sweeter, so I'm going with a little bit of honey here and just mix this all together. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really a mayo person, but this sauce actually really surprised me. It's got a very kind of sweet, creamy flavor, but it's still a little bit tangy from that lemon juice. It's actually very good, and I highly recommend making it. Once your sauce is created, it is time to assemble this sandwich, so I'm going to lay it with the toasted side down, untoasted up, and just get probably 2 teaspoons of this, however much sauce you like. I don't like to go too crazy with it, and just kind of spread this across until it is evenly coated. Now I'm going to be taking a few pieces of my lettuce and just placing these down on this sandwich. Follow that up with 2 slices of your tomatoes. I'm going to be honest, I really don't like tomatoes by themselves, but there's just something about them on a sandwich. Also, be sure to season your tomatoes with salt and pepper. It makes a world of difference. Next, add your shaved red onion to your sandwich. This is going to add a lot of crunch, and you can add more than you think because that acidity has been reduced by rinsing them. Now add your deli meat to this. You can go with turkey or chicken. In my case, I'm using chicken because it's got a more mellow flavor, and I think it's going to suit this sandwich nicely. After your turkey or chicken has been placed, go ahead and lay down a slice of extra sharp cheddar. I think this is the perfect cheese for this sandwich because it's got a nice bite to it, but it's not too overpowering. Finally, place another mayoed piece of bread to the top with the toasted side up, and it is complete. Alright everybody, the sandwich is complete. Let's get a close-up view of that. It's got a nice cross section to it. So let's dive into the taste test. Wow, okay. So immediately right off the bat, the sauce or dressing that I made for this is absolutely perfect for the sandwich. I don't know, it's like I would say it's more on the sweeter side from the honey, but it's still got a little bit of acidity from the lemon. Let me get another bite here. Okay, so the verdict on this sandwich, this is extremely good. I wasn't actually expecting it to be this good, but I think that the sauce goes extremely nicely with the tomato and the onion. Since we rinsed those onions, it's got like a much mild and less pungent flavor, but it's still got that little bit of bite, but not as much. I don't know, it just goes really good with the sauce. Not to mention that sharp cheddar cheese. I was worried that that was going to be a little bit much on the sandwich, but you really don't get that much flavor. Most of the flavor is coming from the sauce as well as these vegetables. As you can see, you also get a variety of textures and flavors going throughout this. So yeah, I'm going to give this sandwich a solid 8 out of 10. I would definitely eat this any day over like a traditional lunch sandwich. It's got a lot of upgraded flavors and components, but it's still extremely simple, which in my opinion is a complete win for this, because obviously if you have time and money and effort to put into something, it's probably going to taste better, but this comes together just as quickly as any normal type of sandwich that you can make, and there's not that many extra steps, so I would opt for this any day over a traditional lunch meat sandwich. Alright everybody, and that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like down below. A lot of time and effort went into making this. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, because we're making good food here every single week. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the next one.